Good morning everyone. Today we learn about the lungs. See, lungs are the pair of essential organs of respiration that you know. They invaginated into the corresponding pleural sac. Each lung is invaginated by the pulmonary pleura except at the two sides. Which are these two sides? That is the hilum and pulmonary ligament. We will learn one by one each and everything. Now first the features. See, each lung, it is porous, it is highly elastic and spongy in texture. It crepitates to the touch and floats on the water. But in stillborn lung, it sinks in the water. If we talk about the colors of the lung, we can say that in newborn, it's rosy pink in color. In young, the lungs are brown in color, whereas in adult, it is dark slaty in color because of the deposition of the inhaled carbon particles. And the right lung is 700 gram in weight, whereas it is about 50 to 100 grams heavier than the left lung. See, this is the right lung, this is the left lung. How can we say? First we learn the presenting parts of the lung. See, each lung is conical in shape. You can see here each lung is half conical in shape. Apex at the upper end. You can see here, this is the apex of the lung, right? It is an upper end. Base resting on the diaphragm. This is the base. This is the apex that is on the upper aspect. Base that is on the inferior aspect that rests on the diaphragm. And it has three border, that is anterior border, posterior border and inferior border. See, this is the inferior border. We learn each and everything one by one, don't worry. And surface are two. This is outsider costal surface and inner, this is medial surface. Now we'll see one by one. So, first of all, about the apex. You can see here, apex is not the point. It is an area that lies on the upper aspect of the lung. So, when you put in your hand, the upper apex should be on the upper aspect, right? And the base should be on the inferior aspect, like this. Okay, so apex on the upper aspect, base on the inferior or lower aspect. Now, apex is as I told you, it is not a point and it is an area that lies above the first rib and its costal cartilage in body. It is rounded in shape and situated into the root of the neck. The apex lies 3 to 4 centimeter above to the first costal cartilage and 2.5 centimeter above the medial end of the clavicle. It is covered by the cervical pleura. It is covered by the cervical pleura and it is itself strengthened by the suprapleural membrane that you have already learned. Now the base, you can see here, this one is the base. This is the base, you can see here. It is semilunar and concave in shape, right? Okay. And the concavity is more in case of right side than on the left side because we know there is a presence of more part of liver on the right side than on the left. And as I told you earlier, the inferior aspect or base is rest on the diaphragm. If we talk about the relation on the right side, the right lung is related to the right lobe of liver and on the left side, the base is related to the left lobe of liver, fundus of the stomach and spleen. See, you will learn that is later on. It's very easy. Now, so we have completed about the apex and base. As I told you, apex on the upper side, base on the lower side. Now the border. As I told you, it has three border. First one, this is the anterior border. See, if you compare with the posterior border, it is thin one. You can see here, it is thin compared to the posterior border. Posterior border is somewhat rounded one and is not as clear as the anterior border. You can see here, this is the anterior border, right? Anterior border of right lung, it is vertical and correspond to the anterior costomediastinal line of pleural reflection of the pleura. See, this is the left lung. How can I say? As I told you, this is apex on the upper aspect, this is the base or inferior surface, that is lower aspect. This is the anterior border, that is thin one, that is on the anterior aspect. Now, if we compare with the left lung, right lung border, see, this anterior border of the left lung is not as vertical as the left. right. Why? Because the anterior border of left lung follow the costomediastinal reflection of pleura up to the fourth costal cartilage. Then there is it deviates laterally 3.5 centimeter from the midline because of the presence of this cardiac notch. See, you can see here this is the cardiac notch. Again, see, this is the anterior border of left lung. Okay, so you can see it is vertical up to this. Then there is a notch. This is called the cardiac notch, right? And then it reaches up to the sixth costal cartilage, and then so it is 4 centimeter left to the median plane. So heart and pericardium is here and is not covered by the lung in the region of this lung. So if I describe this whole anterior border, see, this is vertical, then this is the cardiac notch, and this is the part that is called the lingula below the cardiac notch. So this whole is anterior border of left lung. So if we compare now this anterior border of left lung with the right lung, you can see here this anterior border of right lung is vertical from above downward. Okay? Now about the posterior border. See, this is the right lung again. So posterior border of right lung, it is rounded one. It is thick, rounded and ill-defined. It occupies in the body in the paravertebral gutter, means in simple language on each side of the vertebrae, right? It is related with the medial margin of the head of the ribs, and it extends from the C7 vertebrae to the T10, means thoracic vertebrae, T10 spine. You have to remember the extension of the posterior border from C7 to the T10 of the spine of vertebrae. Okay, so this is the posterior border that is ill-defined and rounded one. Okay, so you can very easily identify the anterior border is thin one, posterior border is rounded one. So when you hold in your hand whatever the which side of the lung, you have to hold on respective hand, and apex is on the upper side, base is on the lower side, anterior border it is on the anterior aspect, and posterior border it is rounded one, that is on the posterior aspect. Now we have completed apex, base, border, and now the last one border is inferior border. Now we will see the inferior border. See, again apex, base, anterior border and posterior border. See, this is the inferior border of the lung. This inferior border of the lung separate which two surface? This medial surface, and this whole is costal surface. So we separate the two surface. Now the posterior part and lateral part, these two parts is very thin compared to the remaining border of the inferior border. Why? Because it occupies the costodiaphragmatic recess of the pleura. Now the surface, this is the outer surface, or you can say the costal surface. This whole is costal surface of lung. It is convex, you can see here convex, smooth and related with the lateral thoracic wall and separated by the costal pleura and endothoracic fascia. It present impression, you can see here. Can you see? These are the impression that is present over the lung, over the costal surface. These are the impression. Okay? It because of the ribs and costal cartilage and elevation of the intercostal space. It means you can see here there is a depression and elevation over the whole of the costal surface of the lung because of the rib and its costal cartilage. The important thing, the costal surface is related to upper 6 rib into mid-clavicular line, upper 8 rib into mid-axillary line, and upper 10th rib into the scapular line. I am repeating again, you have to remember the number 6, 8 and 10. 6 rib up to the mid-clavicular line, 8 rib up to the mid-axillary line, and 10th rib up to the scapular line. So extension of lung is 6th rib in mid-clavicular, 8th rib in mid-axillary, and 10th rib in scapular line. This is very, very important thing. Now the medial surface. This is whole is the medial surface. The medial surface consists of two parts. This is posterior part, or you can say the vertebral part, and this is called the anterior, or you can say the mediastinal part. So this whole is medial surface, divide into two parts, anterior or mediastinal surface, posterior, or you can say the vertebral surface. We can see one by one. This vertebral part is flat and rounded one. This, see, my finger is running over this vertebral part. So this vertebral part is related with the bodies and intervertebral disc of the upper 10 thoracic vertebrae. Okay, and also related with the posterior intercostal space, posterior intercostal vessels, and splanchnic nerve. They are the greater and lesser splanchnic nerve. See, you have to remember the vertebral part. This part is related with up to 10 thoracic vertebrae, means bodies of the vertebrae and intervertebral disc, posterior intercostal vessels, posterior intercostal space, and greater and lesser splanchnic nerve. Now, the very important thing, that one is anterior part or mediastinal part. That you can see here many depression, many elevation, and these structures. This is called the hilum and structures in it. See, we will see all the structures after some time. Now, the lobes and fissure of the lung. That is important criteria for differentiation of the right and left lung. Now, the right lung has two fissure, that is oblique fissure and horizontal fissure. And because of the two fissure, there is three lobe, that is upper lobe, middle lobe, and lower lobe. In case of left lung, there is only one fissure, that is oblique fissure, and because of the one fissure, there is only one fissure is there, oblique fissure. So two lobe, upper lobe and lower lobe. See, we will see one by one. First, oblique fissure. This is the oblique fissure. You can see here. This is the oblique fissure. Oblique fissure cut into whole thickness of the lung except the hilum. Means it not cuts the hilum, but except the hilum, it cuts whole thickness of the lung. You can see here. See. Right? So it passes obliquely downward and forward, crossing the posterior border. You can see here, this is the posterior border, right? So it passes downward and forward, crossing the posterior border 6 cm below the apex. It passes downward and forward 6 cm below the apex. And then crossing the inferior border, you can see here, crossing the inferior border about 4 cm lateral to the median plane. See, this is whole oblique fissure. Come here. This is the inferior border, so it cuts the inferior border also and cuts up to the 4 cm to the median plane. Due to the oblique plane of the fissure, the lower lobe is more posterior than the upper and middle lobe. Or I can say upper and middle lobe is more anterior than the posterior lobe. So we can see here oblique fissure. Now this is the horizontal fissure. As per name, it is horizontal in nature. It present only in right lung. You have to remember, it present only in right lung. So it extends horizontally from the oblique fissure. You can see here, it extends horizontally from the oblique fissure up to the, at the mid-axillary line, up to the fourth costal cartilage, or I can say from the fourth costal cartilage it runs horizontally and meet to the oblique fissure into mid-axillary line. So this is our horizontal fissure and this is our oblique fissure. And so because of two fissure, this is the upper lobe, this small part is middle lobe, and this is the lower lobe. In some book there is anterior lobe, middle lobe, and posterior lobe is written. Okay, now we'll see about the left lung. See, as I told you, on the left lung, this is the left lung, there is one see, this is the anatomical position, apex, base, anterior border, this posterior border, right? And this is medial surface, so it should be on the medial aspect. This is the posterior surface, it should be on the lateral, or you can see the outer aspect. So on the costal surface, you can see here, this is only one oblique fissure in case of left lung. So because of only oblique fissure, two lobe is there, upper lobe and lower lobe. Now, what is the importance of this oblique fissure? Oblique fissure act as a plane of cleavage. So during the inspiration, upper part of the lung expand forward and laterally by the elevation of the ribs. Upper part of the lung expand forward and laterally by the elevation of rib, whereas lower part of the lung moves downward and backward by the piston movement of the diaphragm. That is because of the oblique fissure. Now, azygous lobe. So up to this time you aware of the parts of the lung, right? So just we see, just revise. This is apex, this is base, three border, that is anterior border, thin one, posterior border, and this is inferior border, right? And two surface, that is costal surface on the outer aspect and medial surface on the medial aspect. So this is of right lung, okay? That has two fissure, oblique fissure and horizontal fissure, okay? Three lobe, upper lobe, middle and lower lobe. Same thing, this is the left lung, apex, base, concave, anterior border, thin one, contains cardiac notch, and below it lingula, posterior border, rounded one, medial surface, costal surface. So this is of left lung, like this, okay? Now one important thing, that is azygous lobe of lung. What do you mean by azygous lobe of lung? See, azygous means, literally means it is an accessory or supernumerary lobes of the lung. There are three types: upper azygous lobe, lower azygous lobe and lobe of azygous vein. That upper azygous lobe and lower azygous lobe is not very much practically important, but in 1% of people there is azygous lobe of azygous vein will be there in case of right lung. What will happen in that case? In case of lobe of azygous vein, where the apex of the right lung split in, this is apex of right lung split into medial, this medial and lateral part by vertical or oblique fissure. Again, the apex of the lobe is divided into medial and lateral part by vertical or oblique fissure, and that bottom of that fissure contains the arch of azygous vein that's suspended by pleural septum, that called the mesoazygous. The medial part of split apex of the lobe is called the lobe of azygous vein. So what is the lobe of azygous vein? The medial split part of apex is called the lobe of azygous vein. It develops, why it is developed? It develops when the apical bronchus gives it develop upward and medial to the arch of azygous vein instead of lateral to it. Again, when it happens, the apical bronchus grows upward and medial to the arch of azygous vein instead of the lateral to it. Okay. Now the root of the lung. This is called the root of the lung. It is an short, broad pedicle contains of tubular sheath of mediastinal pleura which connects the hilum of the lung to the heart and trachea. So this is the root of lung. Root of the lung, it is formed by the structures that either enter to the lung or comes out of the lung. So see, there is a difference between hilum and root. You have to remember, hilum is a gateway. It is like gate, right? And root, what is root? Root that contains the structures. Which structures? They either going into lung or coming out of the lung. So there is difference between hilum and root. See, now we will see the structures that is present in the root of lung. See, this is the book picture that's showing this is the root of the lung, and this lower part, that is the pulmonary ligament. See, the structure, this is the right side root of lung, and this is of left side. See, you can see here from anterior to posterior side. From anterior to posterior side, the structures are similar in both sides. They are this one, that is the pulmonary vein, then pulmonary artery and bronchus. From anterior to posterior side, there is pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery and bronchus. You can see here on the left side lung, this is the pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, then pulmonary artery and bronchus. So from anterior to posterior, the same structures are there. But if we see from superior to inferior aspect on both lung route, they are different. We can see here on the right, in the right side lung route, from above downward, the structures are, this is above downward, they are a partial bronchus, then pulmonary artery, then hypoarterial bronchus, and then pulmonary vein. And on the left side lung route, the structures are pulmonary artery, then bronchus, and then pulmonary veins. Now, the same thing we will see in the lung. See, now we will see in the lung. See, this is the left side lung, right? So, if we see from anterior to posterior, the structure are, this is the vein, right? This is vein. This one is the artery, and this is the bronchus. Now, how can we differentiate these three structures? So, if we compare the wall of vein and artery, the wall of vein is little bit thin than the artery, right? And when we feel the bronchus, we can feel the cartilaginous feeling when we touch the bronchus. So it is definitely identify okay, this is one is the bronchus. So this is the vein, this is the artery, and this one is the bronchus. See, this is the right side of lung. In case you can see right side, as I told you, there are two apartial and hypoarterial bronchus. We can feel this one. This is one. This one is the second. This is apartial bronchus. This is a hypoarterial bronchus is there. Okay. See, again this is the right side, another right side lung. You can see here. This is the bronchus. Okay, see, vein and artery is not properly seen in this lung, but as I have seen you earlier, in this left side lung, you can compare these two. Okay, now we will see the mediastinal structures. Before seeing in the structures related to the mediastinal surface, we see the book picture. See, this is the mediastinal surface of the right side of lung. You can see here, this one is your hilum, right? And these are the structures that means they are present in the root of right lung. Okay, and lower part here, this is the pulmonary ligament, right? Okay, you can see here in front of the hilum and pulmonary ligament, this area is related with the right atrium. Okay, on the inferior corner, in front, just below the pulmonary ligament here, there is again one impression that is for the inferior vena cava. On the superior aspect and just in front of the root of lung, there is a impression for the superior vena cava. Okay, now above the hilum or above the root of lung, there is a one groove that meet the groove of the superior vena cava, that is groove for the arch of azygous vein. As we know, arch of azygous vein open into the superior vena cava. Okay, above it and behind to the superior vena cava, there is a impression for the trachea along with the right vagus nerve. Behind the root of lung, there is impression for the esophagus. So these are the impression we can see on the lung, that on the right side of the lung. Now see, this is the impression on the mediastinal surface of the left lung. See, you can see here, this is the left lung root and this is the pulmonary ligament. In front of it, this is a large. See, if we compare the this cardiac surface that is related to the left lung, it is more concave than the right, than the impression that is present in the right lung. We will show you. I will show you in the lung. Okay. So this is for the impression for the left ventricle. Okay, just in front of the root of lung, there is one impression that is for the pulmonary trunk. Just behind the hilum and the pulmonary ligament, there is deep impression that is for the descending thoracic aorta. Just above the hilum, there is again one impression that meet with this large impression that is the groove for the arch of aorta. that divide, we know, divide into left common carotid and left subclavian artery. Behind to it and above the arch of aorta, there is impression for the trachea as well as left vagus nerve, then left recurrent laryngeal nerve, and behind to it there is a impression for the esophagus and thoracic duct. If we see between the pulmonary ligament and descending thoracic aorta in the lower part, here again there is impression for the esophagus because esophagus deviates twice on the left side. So on the mediastinal surface of left lung, we can see at the two sides there is impression or groove for the esophagus. Now same thing we will see in the lung. See, this is the right side lung. This is the mediastinal surface of the right side lung. Okay. So this is the hilum. This is the hilum. It is a triangular non-pleural impression through which the structures of the lung root that we have seen enter or leave the lungs. Okay. It represents the lateral end of the tubular lung root. Arrangement of the structure in the hilum we have already seen. Now the pulmonary ligament. See, pulmonary ligament, it is a bilaminar fold of the mediastinal pleura from the esophagus to the lung below the hilum. It should be somewhat here. This is the area where there is a pulmonary ligament will be there. Now, ligament, this pulmonary ligament contains what? Its clinical importance is it consists of the areolar tissue and some lymph vessels. And sometime accessory bronchial artery will be there into the pulmonary ligament. Okay, what is the importance of this? The pulmonary ligament provides a dead space from which into which pulmonary vein can expand during the increased venous return. And the lung root, this lung root structure can also descend into it with the descent of the diaphragm. Now the cardiac impression. See, you can see here, this is the cardiac impression in front of lung root and pulmonary ligament. So this one impression is for the which part of the heart is related. So they related with anterior surface of right atrium, anterior and right surface of the auricle, and part of the anterior surface of right ventricle. It means it is related to the right atrium, right auricle and right ventricle. See, right phrenic nerve and pericardiophrenic vessels passes downward in front of the hilum between this pericardium and mediastinal pleura. See, that you have to remember. Now, a shallow groove is present here. A shallow groove is present into the posterior inferior corner of the cardiac impression. That is for the groove for the terminal part of the inferior vena cava as well as the right phrenic nerve. A vertical groove just passed. Upward from the upper part of the cardiac impression here. That is for the superior vena cava. It is for the superior vena cava in the lower part and right brachiocephalic vein in the upper part. Means here it is related with the superior vena cava and here it is related with the right brachiocephalic vein. Okay, a narrow groove arches just above the hilum. You can see here this narrow groove that open into this groove for the superior vena cava. So this is for the arch of azygos vein that we know it open into the superior vena cava before superior vena cava open into the right atrium. So this impression for the arch of azygos vein. Above the groove for the arch of azygos vein means here. Okay, and just posterior to this right brachiocephalic vein, the mediastinal surface come in contact with the brachiocephalic trunk. So it is not given in your BD Chaurasia, but it will be there, the brachiocephalic trunk, and we know that brachiocephalic trunk divide into right subclavian artery and right common carotid artery. You have to remember this. Behind this groove, there is a groove for the right side, right side of the trachea, along with the right vagus nerve. A vertical groove lodges just behind the hilum of this lung here. That is for the esophagus. So esophagus can be seen only one time into the right lung because it deviates twice on the left side. So I am repeating. See, this is the root of lung. Okay, here there will be a pulmonary ligament. This is for the cardiac impression. Here for the inferior vena cava as well as the phrenic nerve. Here for the superior vena cava. Here for the azygous vein. Here for the right brachiocephalic vein. Here for the brachiocephalic trunk that divide into right subclavian and right common carotid artery. Behind to it there is a trachea with vagus nerve, and just behind the hilum here impression for the esophagus. So these are the impression related with the right side mediastinal surface. See, now we will see the mediastinal surface of the left lung. See, I have hold this left lung. Okay. So this you can see here nicely. This is the this is the root of left lung. Okay. So this one is the hilum, and you can see here. See, this is the pulmonary ligament. You can see here. Okay, there is a bilaminar fold of mediastinal pleura below the hilum. That is the pulmonary ligament. Okay. So now you can see here in front of the hilum and pulmonary ligament, you can see very large concave impression. If we have seen already in the right lung, so this is deep one compared to the left lung. Okay, so this is cardiac impression that contains which structure? That contains anterior and left surface of left ventricle, left auricle, and anterior surface of part of right ventricle, left phrenic nerve, and pericardiophrenic vessels. So ultimately it is related with the left ventricle and left auricle and part of right ventricle. Okay, a groove passes upward just in front of the hilum here, somewhat here. Okay, so this is groove. This is groove lodges the pulmonary tongue somewhat here, just in front of the hilum here. Okay, so this groove lodges pulmonary tongue. A well-defined groove arches backward above the hilum. You can see here, right? This is for the arch of aorta. If we see, there is a deep groove that lies behind the hilum and pulmonary ligament here. This groove is for the descending thoracic aorta. So this is for arch of aorta and this is for the descending thoracic aorta. Okay. Now between the arch of aorta, between the arch of aorta and the lung, see from before backward here there are many structures there. They are related with left phrenic nerve. See, you have to remember these things that cannot be seen in the lung, but you have to remember that is left phrenic nerve, inferior cervical cardiac branch of left vagus nerve, superior cervical cardiac branch of left sympathetic trunk, and left vagus nerve. Okay, and the veins related are left superior intercostal vein passes superficial to left vagus nerve. Now from the groove for the arch of aorta, a well-defined vertical groove that passes upward towards the apex of the lung that lodges the left subclavian artery. So here there is a left subclavian artery. In front of the left subclavian artery, there is lie a shallow vertical groove that lodges the left brachiocephalic vein. Okay, and above the aortic arch and just behind the left subclavian artery, the left lung come in contact with here, means here on the posterior aspect there is the esophagus, and same thing, a shallow groove runs downward between this descending aorta and this pulmonary ligament. Here there is again the esophagus. So esophagus come twice in the relation of the left lung. It is here between pulmonary ligament and descending thoracic aorta here, and above the arch of aorta and behind the groove for the left subclavian artery somewhat here. So see, you cannot say exactly, but you have to remember that the esophagus should be on the posterior aspect, it should not be on the anterior aspect. That you have to remember. So what we have seen, this is a large cardiac impression. Then in front of the root there is a for the pulmonary trunk. This is for the arch of aorta. This is for the descending thoracic aorta. Here for the left subclavian artery. In front we have seen the many nerves and veins, and behind it there is esophagus impression, and here between the pulmonary ligament and descending thoracic aorta here again there is impression for the esophagus. So lastly I just repeat how you differentiate between right and left lung. So for that you have to first see, first hold lung on your hand. Okay, then apex upward, right? This is the base that should be on the inferior aspect. Then this anterior border, that one thin, that should be anterior aspect. this is a posterior rounded border, right? So anterior posterior, above downward. And for the medial and lateral side, the lateral side, that is costal surface, convex in nature, that contains the fissure, okay? And this medial surface, in which mediastinal surface on the anterior aspect, this vertebral surface on the posterior aspect. So I can say this is of right side lung, okay? Same thing we can see here for the left side lung. You can see here, this is the apex, that should be on the upper aspect. This is the base, that is on the inferior aspect. This one is the anterior border, and the important thing is cardiac notch is present in case of left lung, and just below the cardiac notch, this tongue-like projection, that is called the lingula. So these two structure present only on the left lung anterior border, right? So that should be on the anterior aspect. This is the posterior border, rounded one, okay? And costal surface, okay, on the outer aspect, that contains only one fissure in case of left lung. And this is the medial surface, in which mediastinal surface on the anterior aspect, and this vertebral surface should be on the posterior aspect. So this lung is of left side. That's all about lung. Thank you.